Hey guys, it's been a super long 2 days, but a good 2 days, and I wanted to do a video on my recent library book haul. I mean, people still go to the library, and the library is a great place, for you to find books that, if you're short on cash and you don't want to buy everything you read. I mean, I love owning books, but sometimes you can shell out a ton of money and you don't even know if you like the book or the author. So recently I went to the library and I got a ton of great books that I probably will not be able to all read before I can turn them in. But that's the beauty of the library. If you don't read them, you turn them in, you didn't pay anything. So anyway, some of the books I got from the library recently were a mix of classics, things I were familiar with, and just things that I had always wanted to read. So the first book I got is Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. I think I'm saying that. I'm probably not saying that right, but anyway, this is a book I got. It's a classic book from an African writer, and it's actually like two different stories, I think, that are intertwined. And I always wanted to read it because it just is a classic, and I'm always looking to expand, not just reading American stories by white authors or what have you. So this will be one I will get to before I turn them in for sure. What I'm currently reading or rereading is The Color Purple. There it is. I like that. I like that simple cover. By Alice Walker. I mean, it's a classic book. It was an excellent movie with Oprah Winfrey and Whoopi Goldberg, but there's nothing like reading the book. And when I was in middle school, it didn't touch me as much as it does now. And I think it's really one of those books that as you get older, you appreciate it more. So I'm almost done with this. Sometimes I can be really slow reader, and since it's been such a busy week, it's really taking me a while, but I'm almost done with this one. Another one is that I've been dying to read, which is also a classic. As you can see, I mostly got classics I had been meaning to read but haven't got to. And this one is by Virginia Hamilton, and it's The House of Dyes Gyre. It's a haunted house story that comes from slavery. And it's just overall, I love the cover, and I've heard such great things about it over the years that I can't believe I haven't read it. So it's time to get this one read. Margaret Atwood, I'm ashamed to say I haven't read any of her books, and I've heard so much about it, and it was in the classic children's list or must read section or whatever. So I got it, and this is A Handmaid's Tale. I don't know if I'll get to this one because, like I said, I have so many to get to, but I'm going to try my very best to get to it. City of God. I love this movie. This is like the best foreign film, one of the best films I've ever seen in my life, and I think it's one of the best. I think it is the best foreign film ever. And I know it was based on a true story, and I know it was based on a book, but I never read the book. And I got it from the library, and it looks almost new. And I gotta read it. I gotta read this. So can't wait. Another classic, H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds. Although a very good Tom Cruise movie, it's not just a Tom Cruise movie. It was not just a movie back in like the 30s or the 40s. Always wanted to read. I tried to read as a young girl. Sci-fi really has never been my thing, but I just love the movie so much, and the story in general. Talks about so much important things like colonialism and all of that I just really wanted to check it out. So don't know if I'll get to this one, but I'm gonna try. Joyce Carol Oates recently published, I think this is a 2015 book. Yes, it is. Yep. So I think it's one of her latest, if not her latest release, called Jack of Spades, and it deals with a well-known author who actually steals his story, one of his stories, from a self-published author. And I thought, what a great idea. I mean, self-published authors don't get any mainstream attention right now. So this book is actually dealing with a mainstream author that steals from a self-published author, and I can't think of a better idea for a book. So I'm definitely going to get to this one. And I'd like to say the best thing about the library is as long as no one has a hold on the books, you can always renew things like multiple times for like a year, as long as no one places a hold on them. So just a tip if you didn't know that, you don't have to actually turn them in when the time is up. You can usually bring them in, have them manually renew it, take it back home. The doll collection. I think I'm going to return this one without reading further into it. It is actually a anthology book, and it's got, see, creepy baby cover on the front, of dolls. My problem with it was I started reading it, and the first story made absolutely no sense. It was avant-garde, but it was crap avant-garde. It wasn't even good. And just as I'm flipping through, the stories just seem off. They're all about dolls. They were written with the understanding that none of them would be like cliche, and even though they're not cliche, like cliche evil doll stuff, they're just boring. So I think I'll return this one without reading it. Beauty of the Library. Last, for this library haul, because I'm always going to the library to get more stuff, I'll never have time to read, is this Stream, a graphic novel. I don't read very many graphic novels. Just take a look at this cover itself, because it's like super scary. It's scary. As you can see, it has the FX sticker on it. I think the FX show is one of the worst adaptations of a book I've ever seen in my life. It's a horrible show. It's terrible, just terrible. And if you haven't read the books by Guillermo del Toro, one of my favorite directors, and Chuck Hogan, pretty please read those books and don't watch that crappy show, because the books are excellent. I can't wait to read this graphic novel. I'm only reading it as a graphic novel because the illustrations are amazing. Read the books. Read all 3 books. One of the best vampire series I have ever read. So that is my entire library haul. I'm still taking indie author reviews. If you're an indie author who writes horror, mystery, psychological thriller, dystopian, I'm going to leave a link to a video that you can watch for information on how to send me your book for review. I'm not taking romance for review, and I'm not taking YA, really, because I don't read those genres, and there's so many bloggers or whatever you call them doing that's just not necessary. But if you're an indie author, you know an indie author, I'm going to put the link below to that video, and you can hit me up and email me. And I read a mix of library books, books on my shelf, and books for review, but I'm putting a special emphasis right now on books for review to help indie authors. I'm going to start replying to those emails tomorrow, so if you already emailed me and haven't heard back from me, then I'm going to get to you first thing tomorrow, okay? Thanks, and we'll see you guys next time.